our guest today, we're so excited. We've been looking forward to this for a while. We both have a great amount of respect and admiration for our guests, and they both share their gifts to help people, and that's one of the best things you can do in life. Mary Jo McCabe has an unusual gift of sight and uncanny ability of knowing. She is a highly respected and sought-after soul intuitive, and over the past 26 years, Mary Jo has devoted herself to sharing her gift with individuals looking for greater personal and spiritual understanding and clarity to life's many challenges. Her son, Mary Jo's son, Dr. Bhrett McCabe, is a licensed clinical psychologist, and Bhrett has the innate ability to empower people to reach their full potential and offers practical tools and insight to create an action plan for change. But together, they are the psychic and the doc, and every Saturday at 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Time, they offer their unique insights to callers to their radio show based out of New Orleans. And their show can be heard on the web anywhere in the country, and there's a link available at their website, and their website is thepsychicandthedoc.com. And without further ado, let's bring them on. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey there. How are you all today?
Good morning. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're just so excited to talk to you both.
Well, thank you for having us. We're excited.
Absolutely.
What prompted both of you to start working together on your radio show?
Brett, do you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
Since you're the mama, I'll let you take it.
Oh, okay. Well, a friend of ours, a friend of mine, a client of mine's husband is the regional vice president of Clear Channel in the Louisiana, Mississippi, that area. And she told me that he was looking for me, and they had realized they wanted me to come on the air and have a show of my own, Mary Jo McCabe. And so that I used to have when I lived in Baton Rouge. And so anyway, she said, we were so disappointed to find that you had moved. And so I said, well, we can still do it. I'll do it. But I said, I have an idea. I have an idea that I think Dick will like because it will be something new and different. So I told him about Brett, and Dick is the one that put it together. Dick Lewis is his name, and he's the one that put the show together. And so it's called The Psychic and the Doc. He named it. And people call in, and, they've never done anything like this in New Orleans because Brett and I are at different places. Our producer is in New Orleans. Brett does the show out of his home in Birmingham, and I do the show out of my home in Florida. So it's kind of, how would you call it, Brett? What would you call it?
It's been a new frontier for them to technically try to figure out how to do it. But I think the question also is more than that, Mom. You and I have worked together ever since you started doing your work. I've been a part of your work in some form or fashion. And when I went to graduate school and went through the clinical program and did my internships and all the typical pursuits, there was always the belief and the idea that we would be working together in some form or fashion. We just didn't know exactly how that was going to manifest and what it was going to look like. We're fortunate about the radio show coming together because it gives us an identity of how we've worked together. But we've had people who've often come to us and said, how does the son of a psychic become a traditionally trained psychologist? I mean, you just don't see that very often. And our answer has always been, well, it's the only thing we've known. I mean, it's not like we're, it's not like we sought out to do it this way. It's just, we believe very strongly in the power of the individual and the way that each person can grow, and we just do it from two different paths. I think it was a marriage, a union of our professional backgrounds, but I think it was something that was always percolating in the background. So that's how it started.
The results are really great. I mean, just the way you come from different perspectives for people's problems on your radio show is just fascinating.
We don't always agree, but, I love to interpret dreams because that to me is something that we all do and everyone can relate to that. And so I love to interpret dreams, and that's the one area that Brett and I disagree so much on, simply because I put more importance on dreams than maybe he does.
Yeah.
And so we're always going back and forth, especially when someone asks a question about their dreams. And so it's interesting.
But we found other areas that we have, when we've always laughed and had people who said, well, what is the difference? How do you know who speaks up when and things? And obviously I always defer to Mom to let her answer first. And the reason for that is she can often provide you the why. In life we're often stuck with why things are happening the way we are. And what makes her different than anyone else is that she has the ability to really connect to the person on the soul level and tell people why they're in the place that they are in, what's going on. Let me get into you and tell you why this is important with you. And my role then is to come back with the practical and say, this is where you are, but what's that next step that you have to take and how we're going to go about doing it? And then you see it very clearly in areas such as grief. We've got, a new book coming out called The Loneliest Walk, and it's a way to manage grief. And grief is just really one of those places where we've seen the union of the two of us really work well.
And you'll be talking about your book at a conference in New Orleans in October, correct?
Correct. We have a 3-day conference. It's all single day. It's like 3 mini conferences in one, and we've gone back and forth on how to package this, and we found that this is just the best way to do it. But it's on Friday night we have Mitch Albom, who's got a new book called Have a Little Faith coming out. He'll be speaking on Friday night with me. On Saturday we'll be speaking with a guy by the name of Jerry White, and Jerry White won the Nobel Prize back in 1997, I think, for his work with landmine, but he's a world expert on resiliency and personal growth and transformation after a life crisis. And then Mom will speak on Saturday, and then I'll come back and do a little work with her. And then Allison Dubois, who is the inspiration behind CBS's Medium, will be speaking. And then Sundays, what you're referring to, is we're going to have an all-day workshop on grief management called The Loneliest Walk, and that's where we'll be unveiling the book.
And that is such a powerful workshop because people connect, they interact. It's a support. It's just a support group. It's wonderful. And for those outside the New Orleans area, we would love to have you join us. The rooms are at a discounted rate at the Marriott downtown. This is going to be at the Convention Center at the Marriott Hotel. So you can just kind of go on a vacation while you're in New Orleans and stay a few extra days. But we would love to see some of your listeners come. I think they'd get a lot out of it. I know they would.
How can they learn more about it?
You can go to thepsychicandthedoc.com and just spell it all the way out. And spell out and the information is there. It's going to be a great weekend. And growing up, you asked the question of how we came together, and I think it's important for people to understand. Our family is as normal as anything. I always tease Mom; she's more Desperate Housewives than she is New Age, and there's a reason for that. I mean, if you met her, you would not have any idea what she's done, and I give that a testament to her professionalism over the years. But I think what our goal with her work and probably me coming in is to kind of say, look, there's a lot of people, and the studies show a lot of people believe in, the work that she does and things, but they may not wear it on their sleeve because, it's always kind of reserved for when life hits you, below the knees and you're struggling, you go see somebody like Mom but you don't tell anyone. Well, our goal with this workshop is to reach across mainstream and work with people like Mitch Albom and Jerry White, who normally would never done a conference with people like us, and kind of say, you know what, this is something that we can all grow from and learn from. And I wanted to bring in, and Mom wanted to bring in speakers that really didn't, it's not fun to go to a workshop and you see 7 people speaking on the very same topic.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I want people to come in who've never had the opportunity to hear somebody like that and say, I don't know anything about them, but what do they have to offer? And let me see if I can take one nugget away from their talk.
Well, we're so excited that we're bringing this to your listening base. We just want everyone to come and enjoy the weekend because I guarantee you're going to leave with something more than what you had when you got there.
Wow. So you'd recommend it for everybody?
I do.
Right?
I do.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have lost someone to come and learn. Like Bhrett said, it's something that pertains to everyone.
Well, and even more than that, I was having a conversation with somebody about this yesterday. When we oftentimes think of grief, we think of grief as only because you've lost somebody in your life. We grieve for a variety of reasons. We grieve over the loss of a job. We grieve over the change of an identity, an end of a marriage or a relationship, a change in what we know.